Well, here we are, smack dab in the middle. I can't even say the middle. It's really the beginning of this whole um, coronavirus outbreak in the world. It has begun to get out of hand, as we see in grocery stores and the things that we're watching on social media and things like that. It's really started to get to a place where it's getting a little ridiculous, and where normally sensible people are slowly losing their minds. And it's really hard to see. It's really unfortunate. And, in times like this, I think it's easy for anybody who believes, as I do, believes in Jesus and believes in God, but specifically Jesus, for the Christians to take advantage of this opportunity and to tell everybody that they have to accept Jesus and that there's nothing for them to worry about if they do. And all of the stuff that could and probably is being said right now. I could take time to do that, and but that's not really, although that is true and that is my heart. What I want to do right now is kind of answer the question as to why Jesus. Answer that question, why Jesus? Especially at a time like right now, but more so from my experience, and just as a short little, I guess, like a testimony. And in times like this, where we're in right now, just makes it so much easier for myself and my wife and my family, and hopefully those who call themselves Christians and believe in Jesus can also say the same type of thing. And so, my walk with Jesus, my walk with Christ started in 1999, on January 26th. I walked into a church called, well, I have the shirt on right here, Malvern Christian Assembly, located in Scarborough, an amazing church. But I knew nothing about Jesus. I knew nothing about religion. I knew my family's not religious in any way. And really the only reason I went to that church was because I had a friend who went there who also played on my football team. And he was always encouraging me. He played the trumpet in the band at church, and which I now know is called the worship team. But he always, you should come check me out and come watch me play and whatever. And he would always do it. I knew what he was trying to do. So to get him off of my back, I agreed. And I went there on January 26, 1999. And I literally just came back from church this morning. So 21 years, however long it's been a long time. And, that morning when I went there in January, my life was changed. And I didn't know at the time what was happening. I couldn't explain it. All I knew is that something was different. And I think what happened is that I heard the other side of the story that doesn't involve me controlling my life and me dictating what happens and how things are run and what I should do, what I should say, where my career should go, what about my family, all of these questions that we all wrestle with every single day. I didn't know at the time, but I know now that what that was is that Jesus was knocking on my door. And that morning I accepted him into my life, and my life has never been the same. Would I sit here and say that it's been easier or it's been an easy life since then? Absolutely not. Anyone else who tells you that would be a fool and a liar. It definitely hasn't made my life easier, but it has definitely made my life happier and more joyful, and just makes myself more secure that I know where I'm going when I die, and also that in times like right now, I'm reminded through his word, the Bible, that he is the solid rock. He is the foundation. He is what I stand on in times like we're in right now. And as long as I'm standing on that solid foundation, I will never be shaken. I will never be moved. And as much as there's ups and downs and highs and lows, as long as I find my feet set on the solid rock, then I know all is well. It's like the Holy Spirit just welcomed himself in. My front door just opened by itself. Sorry about that. Anyway, so as I was saying, I accepted Jesus into my life, and at that time in my life, I wasn't having a horrible life. I grew up in a rough neighborhood in this city in Toronto, and my mom my mom and my dad were divorced, and me and my brother were pretty young. I was 13, 12, going on 13 when it happened. And so, you know, I was at the time in school, I was seeking a basketball scholarship, and but things didn't work out. I got kicked out of school for reasons, and you know, it just didn't work out like that. And I realized sitting in the pew in the church that I did not have all the answers, and I did not know what tomorrow holds. I wasn't in control of that. I had the realization that I didn't have any say in tomorrow, and that you know, I was not the one who was controlling my life. And if I was doing a pretty bad job. It's not like I was going to bed and waking up happy every morning. And I don't mean that superficial happiness because of a big house or cars or money or any of those kinds of things. I just mean like joy, like the happiness that resides deep in your heart and in your soul. And I definitely didn't have that. And that day, I didn't know nobody in the church. I didn't know anybody other than my friend there. And I just felt an overwhelming sensation that this was the answer that I had been looking for so long. And I was in my 20s in college, and it just all changed in that moment. And so they did this thing that I didn't even know is called an altar call. I had no idea what that was, and they asked if anybody wanted to accept Jesus into their heart, that you could come up to the front of the church, and one of the pastors would pray for you and welcome you into the family of God. And so I did it. I didn't know what was happening. I stood up in the church. I didn't know nobody. It was like an out of body experience. It's like I stood up, and then I stood out of myself, and I looked at myself. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, sit back down. Are you crazy? You don't know nobody here. You're walking down the middle of a church. Church is full, like 600-700 people. But I just kept going. I felt led. I felt pulled and called. And only now do I realize that it was the Holy Spirit. It was God calling me into his family. And from that moment on, everything changed. And from that moment on, I've tried my very best to live according to his word. And every single day is a struggle to live up to it. But it's joyful, and it's promising, and it's secure, and it's everlasting, his message. And so, you know, when I come to times like how we are in right now, if anybody was to ask me, what is it, and how can you be the way that you are? Why are you not shook? Why are you not punching people in the face for paper towels? Pause. Why? Can somebody explain to me why? I can't do the math. Somebody must explain to me why tissue paper is gold right now. Like, why is bathroom tissue paper the thing that everybody's going for? For when we have a sickness outbreak, people go for toilet paper. I have not seen anything on social media or on the news or with anybody explaining why toilet paper. Because you want your butt clean? This is what we're worried about when we come? If we have a zombie apocalypse, this is what we are gonna go for. We are clearly not prepared for catastrophe. It's so bad. I don't understand. Anyway, I'm not in lines in grocery stores punching people in the face for paper towels or hand cleaner or anything. I got soap at home and water. Wash your hands, okay? It's common sense. All right, sidetrack. Focus. Anyway, so when it comes to times like this and the winds of change blow, I'm not shaken. I'm not disturbed. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned, because of the two things: that I know where I'm going when I die, and while I'm here, I know the foundation that I stand on. And that foundation cannot be shaken. It cannot be moved. And so long as I keep my eyes on that and keep my feet planted in Jesus, I know that I will be well taken care of, that I don't have to be concerned with the concerns of this world. And I know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so, you know, that's my answer to that question, why Jesus? Quite simply, because I know that if my life was left in my hands, I wouldn't do right. I couldn't do it right. I wouldn't be joyful the way that I am joyful now. And it's my prayer, it's my heart's uttermost prayer that You would take the time to learn about Jesus, find an amazing church. If you ever want to find an amazing church, Malvern Christian Assembly is where I go. I'm actually on staff there now. Who would have thought of that? Yeah, so, it's been an amazing journey, an amazing life. My first half of life was lived a certain way, but the second half of my life so far, now that I'm in my 40s, it's literally been half of my life in the world and doing what the world tells me to do, and the other half of my life, the second half of my life, living for Jesus and according to His word. And so, I just want to put it out there that I'm here if anybody ever has any questions or anything like that. I'm not like a huge theologian or like a pastor or a biblical scholar or anything. All I can tell you is that once I was lost, but now I am saved. And once I was blind, and now I see.